Everybody. So I started a series with kind of a four-step process in how do you start persuading your life towards positive change. And today is the second step in that process. So, a lot of aspect of change requires a consistency. And what I mean by that is it requires a stable foundation. As human beings, we thrive in feeling secure. We thrive in being rooted into something. And based on the research and the studies that I've done, the thing that I find to be most kind of reliable in the sense that my client then has full control is finding that stability within yourself. So today I'm going to be talking to you about doing just that. Hi everybody, I'm Jessica. I'm a certified life coach and owner of Endless Possibilities Life Coaching Services. I also have my Bachelor's of Science degree in psychology, and as you may have heard if you've watched a few of these videos, I've started this series just to bring some coaching tips on things that I consistently work with clients on. So today I'm really excited to work on the aspect of strengthening our own foundation. So this is a huge part of what I introduce into my work with clients when we're working on a lot of different aspects when it comes to trauma recovery, when it comes to kind of redefining who you are, if there's been a big life change, or just, working on self-confidence and some of that self-worth aspects of life. And one of the things that I base my kind of practice and coaching tips on is rooted in a psychological principle by Maslow, and it's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But basically, Maslow's a psychologist, I think back in the 1940s, but he came up with this idea that people as a whole, it's like a triangular thing. So like think of, the food pyramid. And there's a series of steps that people need to undertake in their development to really reach what we call self-actualization, or what he called self-actualization, which is basically being the best version of yourself, being at a place where you can literally thrive and be successful at that thriving. So within Maslow's hierarchy of needs, he started with the idea that we need, our physiological needs need to be met. So survival needs, right? We need to have air, we need to have food, all of those primal things need to be met. And until they are met, we can't focus on any of the higher levels of ourself, because our whole focus and human mechanisms are going to be put towards that effort. So that was the fundamental idea. Then after that, we move up to security. So now we have life required things taken care of as far as food and water and clean air and things like that. But now we're going to look at how do we keep ourselves safe within our environment, because that's our next level of stability, right? We can't even think about anything until we know that our actual survival and the safety within our survival is taken care of. And then once that is secured or happens, then you move up to love and belonging. So love and belonging is a crucial part of our human condition. So our human condition is anything and everything that makes us a human being. And I say it's a crucial part because I've been doing some classes and some different research, and I took a really interesting course called Psychological First Aid. And really it was talking about how do you triage, within psychology, people who have gone through devastating life events, whether it's natural disasters or, human-made disasters, things like that. And one of the things that they found with consistency is what makes every human being more resilient to stress, meaning more capable to handle it, more able to manage through it, and more able to process it and return or rebound into a healthy, normal life is, in resiliency, is the social connection. So people who feel that they have a social connection within or through that trauma, whether that be, during the process of the trauma, during the recovery of the trauma, fare much better with the stress and with the rebound into healthy living after that. So, and that's not the only, there's numerous studies that show the benefit of health and wellness to having a healthy social network, or feeling a connection of love and belonging within your framework of life. So that love and belonging component is a really crucial piece to the higher levels of ourself, right? Just like food and water is a crucial piece to our primary survival, love and belonging becomes a really crucial aspect to any higher levels, which there are a couple. So within Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the fourth level has to do with self-esteem. Our self-worth. How do we feel in connection with our social networks and our love and belonging aspects? And then from there, we move on to the self-actualization. So the idea is to be a well-rounded human being, we really have to have a good placement within each one of those blocks to be able to be at the place of thriving. And when I do my work with clients, whether we're doing trauma recovery with adults from childhood, or I'm working with parents and children on social emotional development, I really lean back into this framework, because for me as a practitioner, when I look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I don't think it's a one and done process. We are constantly growing, constantly developing, and constantly evolving. Especially as children, our brain is not fully developed until we're about 23, 25 years old. That's when the prefrontal cortex finally completes its development, which is the last phase of the brain development. And I do think, neurons and new neural pathways are still being built throughout our life. And I know neural pathways are being kind of, those unused ones are being cleared away and removed. So there's always a process of renewal that's happening within us and within our development. So when I work with clients, I look at that and say, okay, so we're cycling through, that development. And when we're doing the work, we're looking for where our mislearnings, maybe where did we perceive something that wasn't beneficial to our true development, and how do we go back in and fix it, or where were there gaps, and how do we address that, and now how do you build in supports. So within that, at the end of the day, when we're working on how do you strengthen your foundation, with an eye on that idea of who we are as a human, how we develop in our human condition, I ask clients to really define who they are. So who are you as a person on this earth? Who are you as an essence in your world? Who are you as an action in what you do? Who are you and how you feel about yourself? Who are you and what you bring to the environment, to your social networks, and what do you really want for yourself? That's the thrive. Sorry about that, my camera blipped and the battery got overheated. But as I was saying, what we really need to start doing is defining who we are. And the very top of that is, how do we thrive? How do we self-actualize? And that's where, as a coach, I get so excited for my clients, because this is where you really get a chance to define who you are, everything you want to be, things that you have currently in your life, things that you would like to have in your life. And not only do you define that, but look and say, okay, well, what qualities or what supports within myself do I need to be able to achieve that kind of life, to achieve the ability to do that? So what within my human condition needs to be added or supported or, changed to be able to make that happen? Like for instance, for me, wanting to do something, wanting to teach, wanting to coach on a larger scale, I'm a pretty introverted person, so I really needed to have courage. I needed to have courage and get out of my comfort zone to be able to do that. So that went on my foundation of defining who I was and who I needed to be able to get to the life of my dreams. So this is how we strengthen our foundation, right? The reason I started this out by saying the biggest consistency is, strengthening ourselves, strengthening our own foundation, is because we are the constant in our life. And it doesn't mean that the other people in our life and the relationships that we have aren't valuable. As I said, going over the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, in fact, they are quite valuable to us. They help make us resilient. They help make us strong through life. But the only consistency that we have control of is ourselves. So the more clearly we can define ourselves, the more comfortable we get in that definition, and the more we work and build a relationship on strengthening that defined foundation, the better we are at persuading our life towards positive change. So this is the reason this is the second part in the series. The first was all about that mind control, right? How do we start navigating control within that? The next is, how do we start navigating control over stability, because life is full of change and we can't control all things. Well, you do it by defining yourself and strengthening your foundation. So I hope you found this video useful, and I look forward to the next 2 videos in the series. All right, thanks.